Yo, yo, yo. It's been a little while since I hopped on this bad boy and made a video. It's actually, I just looked on my freaking thing. It's been like 3 months. And obviously a lot's happened in 3 months. That's worthy of me hopping back on here and kind of just trying to spit some game, and let people know what's going on in my life. I actually really want to try to grow this channel. It's just been kind of holding myself back, with different older habits of mine that I kind of slipped back into and kind of shifted the focus. You know what I mean? So now I'm like definitely more in alignment with myself. So like I feel like it's something that I want to continue with. Um, Something that I feel like I can be able to use my voice and kind of share some insight on some things that I got and be able to really just try to connect with other people, man. That's like what I feel like this should be used for. Sorry, more or less, is to just be able to connect with. Let me make sure this is tight. Yeah, be able to connect with other people. And today was a really good day. I got some things done and then went and took a Muy Thai class, which was good. This was an activity of mine that like I definitely veered off from, but I definitely like see the importance of as to why I do it, and just being in there with people that really know what they're doing. It's a very eye-opening experience to say the least, and definitely adds to my arsenal of things that I use to further enhance my life, if that makes sense. And been practicing yoga too, and just the things that I need, I find I can resist, and that's more or less. I'm trying to go against that. I mean, I'm trying to go against what, because usually what I'm resisting is what is needed, and it's interesting. Like I was in there taking class, I'm like, why was I resisting this for so long? And I'm like, wow, I needed this. I need this in my life. So this is the place I go, USMMA. I love it. Really great place, really good people, really great workout, really good time, really good community, which is something that again I had struggled with because I started to isolate myself more and fall back into these older habits, and that's what can happen if you're not staying on game with. For me, when I want to talk about myself, when I'm not staying on game for what's working for me, like it's easy for me to just fall back. And this time I have a deeper understanding of it, which again I always had the understanding, but I think that when I'm not actively, moving towards my goals and my ambitions and things that my purpose that I'm working towards, and that falls into it, then I can become very isolated. And I think solitude's great, but when I was isolating, so it's like it's a little different than solitude. So I'm really happy that I ended up kind of just getting back on the ball and just being able to figure out what it is that makes me feel whole and connected with source and spirit, and that's one thing. And yoga, that's another thing, and meditation, that's another thing, and doing my schoolwork, that's another thing. Just excelling in whatever area it is, my work, whatever I'm doing, like that's what drives me to become the best version of myself. And that's I think that what I was brought here to do was to just share my authentic self and try to become the best version of myself every day. And when I lose sight of that, then that's when the older habits, it seems a lot easier to entertain them than it would be, let's say, now. And so it's just a constant practice of surrender. That's really what it is. And if I don't do that, then I will kind of slip back into these things. And I think it's for me, like I'm like really the focus is really shift on my spirituality, and it's always been like that. It's not like I haven't been focused on it, but I think this time around I'm starting to have like a new set of eyes, so I'm really able to kind of see things in a different light, which I think is phenomenal. That's like what each time I kind of go through some sort of more or less, not setback, I don't want to call it a setback, but just a period where I'm probably suffering a little bit more than I need to. I'm able to really, once I come out of that, and once I go through it, then I'm able to have a new set of eyes to view things in a different way. And I've just come to see things in a whole different light, and I'm grateful for that, because it's like, without that, I wouldn't be able to continue this process. It's just I just started it a year ago, so it's like, I'm not gonna be like perfect, but also at the same time, the cycle of my habits is far out. It's not far, but I don't go as deep into it. I'm able to kind of come out of it really quick and be like, wait, this is why I don't even want to do this. So it's getting better with the cycle of behaviors that were really causing me a lot of pain in my life. So I'm extremely grateful that I'm able to kind of break out of that cycle very quickly, and just wake up one morning like I did, I don't know, a week ago, rather not 2 weeks ago, a week ago. I woke up and, all right, like, this lasted a couple days. And even through the 3 months, it happened twice, and it didn't last long. So I'm just extremely grateful to have the new set of eyes, and I think that's what overall, for me, gives me that strength for myself, is to be able to consistently have a different set of eyes when I'm viewing different things, and I'm able to kind of just continue to expand, and that's like where I'm extremely grateful for the process of it all, because like without it, who knows where I'd be. I don't know. There's people in my life who've been very influential, and they know who they are, and they've really been patient with me and worked with me, and I'm extremely grateful for that, because if I didn't have those people like Shane, that got me into martial arts, and like I was on an ankle bracelet, and like he like held pads for me, and like we like became good friends. We're still good friends. So the unconditional like love that like I hold for those people is very much, very deep. So that's I'm just grateful for that. I'm grateful to have my predecessors and mentors and friends and the people that I really connect with on a regular basis. I'm grateful to have all of them in my life. They all know who they are, and I have to start naming off a bunch of people. Shane, I just thought of him for a second, but yeah, I'm really able to just kind of get back into the flow of like what makes me feel whole, and what it is that I'm looking to achieve out of this life, because it's like I believe that I'm here to achieve something. I don't know what it is yet. I'm working towards something, but to say I have a pinpoint accuracy, this is what I'm going to do, but like, because it could change. So what I'm doing now could change in 5 years. It could be on the same path, but a little different. It could be something different, but so it really just all depends. Really depends. So it's like, all I know is I have a purpose, and I'm driven to finish my college, and I'm driven to like do the job that I have, and get a better job, and work towards becoming self-employed. And that's kind of the position and the route that I'm currently working towards, and it feels great. There's been some, kind of like I said, maybe took a quarter step back, if that, I don't even want to call it, a quarter step back. It didn't take a full step back. So I'm really, really feel really dialed in, feel really clear. I was smoking pot, and I stopped the pot. It just doesn't really. I'm actually abstinent, and I feel pretty great about it. I think it's needed. I know I've talked about plant medicine on here and how much it helps, but I think it gets to a point where you just need abstinence. You just need to really meditate and sit with yourself and self-analyze yourself, because it's so easy to just get so conditioned by our environment. Even me, like just going to work and figuring out what to eat, and without analyzing myself and like what's going on within me. And it's easy to just get caught in that cycle. So, and those things are important. It's important to eat. It's important to, survive. We have to survive. So it's not what I'm saying. But if that becomes my only focus, then kind of plug into the matrix pretty quick. So that's something else that I've kind of given a lot of thought to, and I've really, really, really see what that can do if I if that's the one thing I'm focusing on. Just like if I'm focusing on just yoga, I have to do a lot of different things to get to the best version, the best version of myself and the most authentic version of myself. And I think that over these past few months, it's kind of been interesting turn of events, but it's all led me back here. So it all happened for a reason. No matter how painful it is, and no matter how much I feel like sometimes I just want to quit, there's no reason to do that. There's no reason to quit. Just give up. Because then it's like, I'm doing all this for what if I just give up? So it's like, I'm grateful that like the focus is back. Like I'm just connected with spirit again, and like really just trying to practice that on a daily basis. And I've been kind of getting into like different stuff, like different Star Wars stuff and stuff like that, and I really made a lot of connections with that. And the last show that just came out, I just finished it yesterday and enjoyed it very much, as it resonated a lot with my childhood, and it brings up a lot of emotions, and I think that I identify with Kenobi a lot, from start to finish, quite frankly. Just not wanting to face my trauma, and not want to face it, and then not being able to have the will or the I guess honest look at it so that I could become my best version. And that's what he's going through in the show. You see in the first episode, he just buries everything. I didn't want to be a Jedi. It's just, no, they're all dead. They told that kid that got hung, it's like, hide, bury it in the desert, live a normal life. Well, what about people that need us? He didn't even want to deal with it. And then as you see in the episode, he steps more and more into himself and starts to become his true authentic self. And I think that's like, I identify with that. And that's what resonates with me in the show, is it's him doing that. And I'm grateful that they made that, because it's like, I thought it was phenomenal, and I would like them to make a second season. Obviously, it had to be a little bit different. You can't really have him and Vader face again, because it wouldn't align in the lineage of Star Wars. It just wouldn't. Now that's set up for The New Hope. So I mean, if you don't watch Star Wars, you're not gonna really know what I'm talking about. But anyways, it's besides the point. To focus on him and stepping into the light and stepping into the best version of himself and the most authentic version of himself, and that's where I identify. And I think the show did a great job of like highlighting his trauma and like him trying to like tap into source, and he just couldn't, because he was just so blocked off from it because of the trauma that he like hadn't healed from, and that speaks to me too, So I think that they did a really good job with the flashbacks and how much he loved Anakin, and at the end when Anakin's no longer in here, it's very much similar to me too. At one point in my life, it's like I wasn't even in there. Who I am in my most authentic self, when I'm at that when I'm in that vibrational state, my true self wasn't in there. Just like Anakin, it's just he's not in there. It's just Darth Vader now, So like I identify with that too. So there's a lot in the show that I identify with, and I'm really glad that they highlighted on both their traumas. Honestly, both Anakin and fucking Obi-Wan's. So it's like I gained a lot of spiritual like nourishment from that, and there's actually a lot of Disney Plus that I have. To jump to another show, I watched Man in the Arena, which is about Brady, and I know some people might not like sports, but I use sports as you could use it as a really good analogy in terms of the I guess the battle with yourself, chooses you versus you, in terms of like training and stuff like that, and trying to get yourself to where you want to be at. It's very, 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 very similar. So that's in terms of like doing trauma work and stuff like that. So that's why I like to use the analogy of sports and I like a Tom Brady, and it's like the reason he can play for so long is because he's spiritually nourished. That's why. Because it's like his method of TB12 and Alex Guerrero, they focus on the emotional, mental, physical, spiritual condition. So it's like they're on all four. So that's why Brady can compete at a high level, because spiritually he's nourished. So then the rest can follow suit. And I think that's very important, especially for just developing and finding something that nourishes your spirit. And that's the example that I get from a guy like TV, is it's like he's nourished, and that's why he can perform at such a high level at 40, whatever, he's 43 now, I think, and he can just compete at a high level. And that's something I think that's underlooked. I underlooked it. I think that most in terms of your mental health, and this is where I want to talk about my lulls, is because it's like when my mental health is deteriorating or if I'm struggling mentally, it's like it's a spiritual thing. It's that's where it starts, because your mental health is connected to your spiritual wellness, and I think that's something for so long I didn't understand, because it's like I went to AA and NA, and I don't want to like bash NA and AA, and I don't want to talk bad about it, because it works for a lot of people, and it helped me at a time in my life when I needed it, and it started this whole path of spiritual expansion, but I would go there and only take care of the one thing. I'd only take care of the mental health aspect, but then spiritually I'm not taking care of that condition, so it's like I wasn't able to evolve. It just wasn't. I was kind of stuck in one place, consciously. So it's like I didn't connect the two together, and that's where I like struggled, especially the first couple of years of my early life, in the 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I know I'm only 27, but fucking, you get what I'm saying. So I really suffered at that point, and it's. I think for me, now that I've been able to link the two, now that I see once the spirit is nourished, then mentally, I'm very clear when that's the case. But if I'm just sowed to my flesh too much, with overeating, with just whatever that I'm going to sow to the flesh with, if I'm doing it too much, it's gonna rage war on spirit. And that's where I see it can be a struggle. If it's too focused on that element. I'm not saying the flesh is bad. I think working out and taking care of the flesh is more important than anything else, and I think it's very important, as it is aligned with the spiritual and mental condition also. But I think you have to be on, like TB and Alex Guerrero. They're on all of them. They're on the emotions. They have to be on. They're all right on point with it, and that's why it works so great for him, and that's why his method works great. Because he's in alignment with all of it, and that's kind of what I've come to realize, is it's like, and when I mean sow the flesh, is it's like when I start smoking cannabis. I'm not saying cannabis is bad. For me, this is just where it's at, for where I'm at with cannabis right now in my life. It probably will change, but it sows me too much to it. I start not eating as well, and I'm not taking as good of care of myself. So, and that's just where I'm at right now with it. It's not even like I'm doing it and not getting what I need to get done. It's not. It doesn't affect me as that, but it's not like it used to. But I'm just not as clear, consciously and spiritually, when I'm using it. So that's what I mean when I'm smoking it, and it sows me to my flesh a little bit more when I'm eating and eating too much, and maybe not sleeping as well as I would when I'm not. But that's what I've come to realize about it. For me, same with alcohol. It's just they're selling me too much there, because then I'm raging such a war on my spirit with those substances that the result isn't great. So I've come to realize with substances is it's like, okay, I can do these substances, but what's the result with it? If I sit here and drink alcohol all the time and snort coke, and which I have. I've done it already. I've done it, in that lull I did it, and it's like, well, how great was that? No, it was terrible. Not great. Didn't feel great. raged complete war on spirit, started watching pornography, all this stuff, So it's like, then you look at the result once you come out of it. Once you come back into like spirit more, you're like, okay, like, why the hell did I do that? Like, why did I do that? It didn't make any sense. Why was I even going down that path? And then that's when, like I said, it's easier to come out of that cycle. I don't stay in it because it's just, and I don't want to keep going into it. It's like this time for me to mature a little bit. There's some maturity that that's an observation that I made on myself. A little bit more maturity that work towards, as I've done very well, but could do a little bit better with not allowing allowing what I can't control to affect me. That's what it is. I wouldn't say necessarily that's maturity, but I think it's, sure, it could be, but I think it's, I more or less need to just, not let things control me as much that I can't control, So it's like, that's what happened in this lull. It's just a lot of things that were out of my control that I couldn't control started to affect me, and then that affects what's going on with me. And I did let it go. I was just holding the attachment there. And most people who are into, take the spiritual path are people who hold on to fucking attachments. I could fucking hold on to them. You know what I mean? I'm not actively like trying to do these things that I'm telling that work for me, that allow me to let go of some of these tendencies. Then I'm just gonna hold on to them. It can be very hard in those moments to let them go. To let go of the fornication and the gluttony and all that. It can be very, very difficult. But that's if I allow myself, or if I allow for it to be difficult, and if I don't let go. And that's I'm starting to learn that now more and more each day, of letting go of these things, some of these programmings, societal programming that I was just conditioned to fucking do. It's just no other way to do it. My parents didn't teach me to fucking watch porn. My dad didn't be like, oh, hey, you should go do it. My dad didn't learn any of that from them. A lot of it was propagated by what we see in media and Hollywood and music and entertainment. So it's like, can't blame them. It's not their fault that I made certain decisions. But yeah, you, at a young age, you're definitely like exposed to some things that you might be like, whoa, type shit. Like, whoa. Like, you can't really tell, this is healthy for me or whatever at a young age. So, and then you continue it, and then now me choosing to do it now, I'm just choosing to do it. I'm just choosing to not surrender, and I'm choosing to hold on to it at this point. When you're a kid, it's a whole different thing. But now that I've gotten older and I can see this, it's like, okay, if I keep doing it, it's all a choice for me. It's just nowhere else. And it ain't anybody else. I have people that I talk to. I have a community that like I love dearly. But the choices are mine. I'm the one who's making them. I'm not influenced by anybody. So that's kind of what I'm hitting on here. Is to just the real connection with consciousness and your mental health and spirit and your spirit. And I realize when my spiritual condition starts to deteriorate, mental health follows very, very quick, almost too quick sometimes. So I'm just really glad. I think I touched on a lot. I don't want to make these too long. I had to figure out a way to like edit. I think 20 minutes is perfect, but it's just I can talk I have a lot of things that I want to talk about, so it's like I had to like update this, and I really want to try to get this going, and I'm just gonna put good energy into this and try to bust out a video every day. You know what I mean? When I'm tired, I feel just bang one out and just see where this goes. So for anyone who wants to listen, thank you so much, and I will be back with another video tomorrow. Peace.